Well, I'm joined now by Israel Defence Forces spokesperson, Lieutenant Colonel Peter Lerner. Good morning to you. Can I start with the reports we're getting this morning and, in fact, footage that I have seen of what looks like a convoy of Gazans who are departing. They're on the main road from north to south in Gaza. It looks like it's been targeted. Hamas is certainly saying it was an Israeli strike. They're reporting 70 dead and 200 injured. What have you learnt about this report?
Morning, Anna. I heard about the report as we were coming on, and we are looking into the circumstances. I'm not aware of any IDF strikes at this time to that location, but we will be updating throughout the day.
Well, certainly the footage I've seen looks like an ambulance which followed was also subject to attack. And you understand the implication of this. Should it be an Israeli strike on people who are trying to flee because you told them to, that a convoy, it looks like, has been hit, families on a low loader who are trying to flee the area?
Yeah, and I'll weigh on the word that you said, should it be? And we need to be very clear what exactly happened. And we also need to be aware that Hamas is booby-trapping roads. They could be doing it themselves. Who knows? We need to be very, very cautious in judging before we know the facts.
Well, clearly, you've decided to allow safe passage today between 10 local time and 4, I understand, between 8 in the morning and 2 UK time. What is the purpose of that? Is it in recognition of incidents like this?
No, absolutely. We are continuing our evacuation, our call for evacuation. And as in your report, Anna, they pointed out, people are adhering and listening to our recommendation that people evacuate the northern area of the Gaza Strip. We're continuing to increase our activities. You know, it's just now, this Saturday morning, remembering where we were just 1 week ago at this 7 o'clock in the morning UK time. We were in the midst of this massacre taking place in our towns, and we are determined to make sure this never, ever happens again. Our mission now is to strike Hamas wherever they are. We are very happy to report this morning that we targeted and killed the aerial commander of Hamas, Murad Abu Murad, who was actually involved in guiding the strikes against our positions, against our communities, on behalf of Hamas, and we will continue to seek out and hunt their leadership because they cannot be permitted ever again to target our people.
Well, you know full well that international organisations such as the Red Cross and indeed the United Nations say it is totally impractical to get 1.1 million people, including babies in neonatal units in the main hospital, which is in the north of the Gaza Strip, to move. Should you rethink this policy that you cannot get so many people to move in such a short space of time, or otherwise we'll see the deaths that we've seen in this convoy earlier?
Anna, we are determined to destroy Hamas's capabilities and to safeguard the people of Israel. The people need to listen. They need to move. They need to go south beyond Wadi Aza. That is a safer place that is much out of the way of the main hub and command and control positions of Hamas, out of the way of their leadership. And our responsibility is to differentiate. And that is precisely what we're trying to do in this move. And indeed, we announced it yesterday morning, and we said it was an open recommendation, but people should move immediately, precisely to differentiate between the civilian population and Hamas, the terrorist organization that butchered babies in their bedrooms.
But every time we see the pictures that I've seen this morning of a female family member, either a mother or a grandmother, with her arm around an infant dead on the street, you lose the moral high ground, and with that, potentially international support for your action.
We are operating against a terrorist organization that has embedded itself deeply within the civilian arena. It is their responsibility to listen to what we're saying, move out of the areas of Hamas, move down south towards beyond Gaza, Wadi Aza, and we are going to continue to strike Hamas. This terrorist organization positions all of its capabilities, all of its assets within the civilian arena. And the question is, why? Why did they encourage yesterday people not to evacuate the area? What is the image that they're interested in? And I ask you this, where are Hamas? Are they taking care of their people, or are they taking care just of themselves? I'm sure they're in hiding, aren't they? They are miserably letting down the people of Gaza. They are sacrificing them for what goal? Our goal and our mission as the IDF, as the Israel Defense Forces, is to defend the state of Israel. 1,200 people butchered, murdered in their bedrooms. We are burying 200
What was the purpose of your
200 funerals a day. This is unacceptable. It cannot happen. Hamas are accountable for the people of Gaza. Instead of investing in aerial drones to attack our positions, instead of investing in tunnels to dig into Israel, instead of investing in commando forces, the Nukhba force that will breach our perimeters and butcher our babies in their bedrooms, they should have invested in the lives
Lieutenant Colonel
of Gaza.
Yes, apologies for interrupting you. Obviously, everybody has great sympathy. The funerals are horrific for all those family members, but there are people now dying in Gaza. What was the point of your incursion yesterday? Would you say that your ground attack had started, or was it simply to retrieve the bodies of Israelis who are in that border area?
So there are still ongoing operations, and indeed there are people that are still unaccountable, and we don't know where they are. And so there are operations which are mostly in the close perimeter to the defense area, including special forces, ground forces, tanks, artillery, in order to seek and find people that may have been killed in the escape or in the exchange by the terrorists, by Hamas terrorists on the Gaza side of the perimeter. And that was the goal of the operation. As I said, there are still people unaccounted for. There are still bodies missing. The number of the dead keeps increasing because we keep finding more victims of this butcher. So the operation is ongoing. And
can I ask you, did you? Yeah, I was going to ask you, have you recovered any bodies then? Can you tell us, were they hostages that you've recovered?
So we are continuing to uncover more bodies every day. So I would say yes. The situation is as such.
So are you able to tell us how many people?
We're now mounting our activities on the ground. We have accumulated a substantial amount of forces on the ground in staging grounds around Gaza. We have some 300,000 reservists that have been called up in order to be prepared for a decision and instruction, if given, to mobilize on the ground.
So can you confirm then that the idea of a ground incursion is a matter of when now and not if?
I don't want to relate really to a framework. I think the main mission is how are we going to take out Hamas's capabilities? How are we going to destroy their activities? And that is the main mission. There are many tools in our arsenal to do so. A ground incursion, a ground offensive is just one of those. We're continuing our activities to destroy Hamas so that they will never, ever be able to murder our people in their houses again.
The US Secretary of State, continuing his tour of the Middle East, has called for the need for safe spaces in the Gaza Strip. Firstly, are you actively looking into that? And secondly, what is your intention for those that you have told to leave? Are you anticipating that the southern part of the Gaza Strip becomes a massive refugee camp now?
Anna, the IDF is focused on destructing and destroying Hamas's capabilities. We'll leave the diplomacy for the diplomats, and the IDF will be very focused on our mission to fight the enemy, a brutal enemy that has massacred people in their houses. So we need to make sure...
But your mission has consequences. Are you anticipating the consequence is a massive refugee camp in the south of the Gaza Strip?
The consequences are, first and foremost, those families that have been torn to pieces by Hamas. That is the guiding star of our activities. We know that this can never, ever happen again. And how to do so, we will make sure that Hamas never has the ability to do so. That is what our goal at this time. We're doing it in a way that we can differentiate in order to differentiate between the civilian population and Hamas. But indeed, there is a situation that Hamas has encouraged and is still encouraging, even as they tell people not to evacuate the situation. And I've had reports that they've even established some checkpoints to try and prevent it, although people aren't really listening, which we're very happy about. We have to be very clear in our goals. Our goals is to destroy Hamas, and our goal is to change the paradigm. When Hamas breached last Saturday the perimeter of Israel and entered the houses and the communities in the surrounding Gaza Strip, they broke the rules of the game. Now we are changing the game, Anna.
Lieutenant Colonel Peter Lerner from the IDF, thank you very much indeed for your time this morning. Thank you.